Think you've seen everything the internet has to offer? Better think again.
Tonight, the Fox9 investigators are going to take you to a place where Google will not take you, deep into the so-called dark net. Tom Lydon is our tour guide. And Tom, we're not breaking any laws, right?
No, thanks for being concerned about me. No, we are not breaking any laws. We are basically sightseeing.
Into the so-called dark net. Tom Lydon is our tour guide. And Tom, we're not breaking any laws, right?
No, thanks for being concerned about me. No, we are not breaking any laws. We are basically sightseers in this part of the world, but many other people are breaking the law. Most of what you're going to see, we're going to show you tonight, you won't be able to find on your own, at least not very easily. But in this hidden part of the internet, originally developed by the U.S. Navy, anything goes, and anything's for sale.
Since the dawn of the internet, it's always been there, humming away in the shadows, lurking behind the silly cat videos, social media rants, and all that is indexed and searchable with Google or Yahoo. All that is only 16% of the knowable internet. It's like the tip of the iceberg. Below the surface is the so-called darknet.
And it's essentially the Wild West of the internet.
Here you'll find a global village of hackers, scientists, and government black ops.
I got to see when it was in its heyday, I guess.
As well as a black market for drugs, guns, fake passports, even human trafficking.
The criminals are very forward-leaning and very innovative in what they do.
You can buy and sell anything.
Mark Lanterman, a former police detective turned computer forensics specialist, is still blown away by what he finds here.
And it's very difficult for law enforcement to conduct investigations inside of this part of the internet.
It's where stolen credit card numbers from Target ended up, where you can buy stolen iPhones at bargain prices. Handguns, too, from a distributor who claims to be in the Midwest. Drugs, of course. Heroin, ecstasy, cocaine, marijuana. Sites look like the Amazon of narcotics, bragging about how they've cut out the middleman, offering the best quality product at competitive prices, delivered right to your door.
The dark web is all about customer service because they want your repeat business.
Payment is always in the cyber currency Bitcoin, virtually untraceable. And it's easy to see why, given some of the services for sale. There's Rent-A-Hacker for business espionage or a personal vendetta, who promises to ruin someone financially or get them arrested. How about a hitman? 3 contract killers will do the job in Europe or the US and Canada. The only rules? No kids under 16 and no top 10 politicians. Want a new identity? No problem. US citizenship is for sale, with passports and social security cards. This site even claims to have an insider at the State Department who will provide you with a real U.S. passport under an assumed name for just $800. And the dark net is also finding its way into your home, even your car. Earlier this year, Wired magazine showed how they could remotely hack a Jeep Cherokee through a cellular connection to its entertainment system, even killing the engine on a busy highway.
Kill the engine.
So we're killing the engine right now.
I stomped on the gas, but the Jeep slowed to a crawl.
Via the dark net, Lanterman showed us how a hacker can access your home video camera, or how it provides a backdoor into a San Francisco hospital's ventilation system, or even to 7,000 wind turbines through the Midwest, almost all of them without passwords that could be shut down in a click.
If you, as the owner of those devices, can connect to them, then that means potentially an attacker can connect to them as well.
The criminals know it's there, right? I mean, look, these guys are innovating as fast as we are.
And Dr. Doug Mon is trying to catch them. He directs the Cybersecurity Division for the Department of Homeland Security.
How close are we to being able to find that drug dealer who's on the dark net?
It's a cat and mouse game, and we've found some.
Even sites the Fox9 investigators were looking at were eventually shut down. But unless you know where to look, it's like a needle in a field of haystacks, which is why you'll find an ISIS recruitment site here too, on the dark net.
What are the implications of that for national security?
Significant, and passports are one thing, but some of the other ones I think are just as important are human trafficking and the drugs, and that's a critical mission that we, the department, have. It's a growing market out there, and that's why we're so concerned.
Tor is the browser developed by the U.S. government that is used to connect to the dark net, also referred to as the Onion Network. Tor operates through a network of thousands of encrypted relay servers all over the planet, each relay independently and simultaneously decrypting part of the message, making it virtually impossible to trace.
How anonymous is Tor?
Depends on secure against whom.
U of M computer science professor Nicholas Hopper is trying to discover just how anonymous the anonymous Tor network may be.
The research that I do is in understanding how to help people browse the web in ways that prevents them from being tracked and their data from being collected and used in ways that they wouldn't want it to be used.
Professor Hopper's research, which is hideously complicated, is funded in part by the National Science Foundation, the NSF. But you can bet the NSA is interested too. But Professor Hopper believes Tor may even be beyond their considerable reach.
Doesn't seem like they've had a lot of success.
It took me a while to figure out how to actually get on the dark web.
The dark net in a coffee shop is also where a young journalist goes to escape the prying eyes of the NSA. Sam Richards broke the story of FBI surveillance flights over Minneapolis and other cities. Like many other journalists, he's drawn to the dark net's treasure trove of classified documents from WikiLeaks and whistleblowers like Edward Snowden.
Even last night I used Tor, an instant message service through Tor, to talk to somebody about a piece we're working on that involves government surveillance.
Richards reminded me of another young journalist.
The internet is a lot more user-friendly, especially something called the World Wide Web,
who 20 years ago thought he'd discovered a holy grail via a dial-up modem. And the dark net, with its crude graphics and slow speed, can sometimes remind you of the early days of the internet. And yet, even the dark net may not remain the last frontier for very long.
Facebook actually runs a Tor hidden service, so it's Facebook is on the dark web.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, but it's really there. And we should point out Facebook is on the dark net, not because it's involved in anything illegal, but because many of its users want to remain anonymous, even from Facebook. An estimated 2.5 million people on the World Wide Web are now using the Tor network every single day. 2.5 million worldwide. The nefarious activity, though, the drugs, the guns, the hitmen, that is supposed to be only a small fraction of that traffic. No one knows exactly how much, but it is a number many believe is growing, and growing exponentially. For the Fox 9 Investigators, I'm Tom Lydon.